Now, before we move on, as promised, a Q&A if you guys want it from me and James. Like I said, I couldn't have done it all without my wonderful extras, my venues. So we went to Merlins Arcade in Minehead, Jubilee Cafe in Minehead, the beach, if you can count that as thank you to the beach here, and thank you to Matt for getting us into the Wellesley as well. That was a great venue. We're here to answer any questions you may have about, I don't know, how we got from A to B, whatever.
I'll probably give you some weird and wonderful insights as well to do the process, to start people off and maybe spark some ideas if anyone hasn't got any questions straight away.
Because I know, like, obviously some of you guys were involved in the process, but you might have not in the beginning.
Subway shops,
so that is in Taunton. So if you're coming from the Dunelm big roundabout and you turn right, heading towards the Vauxhall garage and so on and so forth, it's an underpass that runs under that bit of dual carriageway. It takes you to that big Dunelm roundabout. And there's two. There's that underpass there, and there's actually another one on the other side that are filled with loads of sort of really fantastic, high-quality graffiti. There's a crew called Dirty Rotten Apples that do lots of paid-for graffiti around Taunton, and they're two underpasses, and they look fantastic. Yeah.
That was great for the 80s, because we had one that was a slush puppy, didn't we?
We did, so there's a load of shots, with Kiera in front, because we was originally going to go to, what's it called?
We were trying to go to Thunder Bridge, because obviously I was trying to keep it all local, but the week before we filmed it, we had a significant amount of rain, so we got down there and couldn't get through it, so we were like, yeah, we'll go to Taunton, see you later.
Yeah. We sort of had it as a backup, didn't we? We'd sort of spoken about it and said, oh yeah, we've got this, it's quite a nice idea, and I'd shot something different there, but it sort of still worked for it. It was quite nice to sort of team the very, very modern with what we then wanted for the 80s. So there's little things to talk about that you might not have realised. So you start off in like a 4K, 1920, 1080 or not, because it's 4K. And then if you notice, when we disappear inside Kiera's camera, lots of things happen, believe it or not. So one, you get the old 6480 by 800 crop, so the old CRT crop. So if you notice, all the borders come in and the actual whole screen shrinks to the old TV size, and actually all the colour gets washed out. So like you would see on an old CRTV, you end up with loads of scratches and deliberate fuzz and flicker over the whole pictures at the point where we disappear to the 80s. And when we go back, it all clears back up into full 4K video again. So little things like that to sort of really sell and make people think, hang on, what's going on here? So
it was the 80s.
Yeah, little things like that.
The 80s illusion worked really well.
Yeah.
How did you manage to keep members of the public in different filming locations out so that it didn't destroy that illusion?
It was just luck, really, wasn't it? Like I'd spoken to several venues anyway, like the arcade and the cafe, to say, I'm planning on coming to do this. Is this okay that we can use your venue? And they were like, yeah, that's fine, but obviously we're going to be open. I was like, that's fine, we'll just need a corner or something. And it was just pure luck. In the cafe, we had quite a few, so that's why actually inside it, so that's why we kept it quite short in there around me. There are a few things, if you really pin-pick the video, you'll go, that's not 80s. But if you just watch it, like normal people do, it's the 80s.
So, to a certain extent, I think the only thing that was, was just beyond, it's a combination thing. Time scope, filming time, is the fact that at the back of the golf shot, there's two modern cars in the back of the golf shot. It's so quick, you wouldn't necessarily know it.
We had a discussion about it, didn't we? Like, is this going to matter? But it's such a quick pan round that
we could have digitally removed it to a certain extent. I could have gone back there and taken a photo and got away with it, but it's sort of lots of time and lots of effort for, does it really matter? Probably not, no.
No, I think it was just luck and choice of shots, wasn't it? Because there were people playing Crazy Golf when we were on it. We just decided that we were going to stick to that one. So it was just a choice of shots to not get people in. The same with the arcade. There was people in the arcade. We just chose a corner that was the most LED-ified for the 80s and kind of went, we're going to stick ourselves here. And to be honest...
Well, we need the right consoles as well, didn't we? We needed to not have, like, Who Wants to Be a Millionaire running in the background and things like that, you know. So all the old penny-pushing games were better.
But truthfully, people see a camera and they steer clear.
That was going to be my next thing. As soon as you start waving a camera around with a gimbal on, people generally tend to run and hide, which is quite good. Unless you're in an underpass at night and then everyone wants to come and be your best friend.
Oh my God, yeah, literally.
Yeah, I don't know what they thought we were shooting.
You cycle through, that's fine, carry on.
No, it was quite nice actually. Our Kiera and I had a great conversation beforehand about what she wanted to do, and we'd sort of met up and had a chat, and it was really funny, and we sort of gelled really well. You know, our first sort of proper get-together filming was we'd met to walk out to Thunder Bridge, and then we ended up coming back, driven back out to Taunton to shoot there, and then proceed to spend 4 hours at night in a graffiti underpass, just basically taking the mick out of each other. So it was, it worked quite well, really.
We did some test shots, and then we had to wait for it to get dark. So we were like, okay, just waste some time, that's fine. But yeah,
No,
and the drone shots as well.
Yeah.
That entices people. The camera sends people away. Drones, everyone's like, oh, it's a drone. No, move away from it, please.
Give people haircuts that they don't want.
Yeah.
No, it's quite good. It's good. Any other questions?
Who did the music mix in?
Who did? Oh, so yeah, that's a good point. So he should have been here tonight, but he couldn't have been. My song was produced by a guy called Marsh. He is amazing. I've done 3 other songs with him, and I will be going back with him as well. Just like James, he understands exactly what I want. So I made a demo of Virtually Addicted. It didn't sound anything like that, I have to say, apart from some of the vocals. And I sent it to him and was like, I want this to be like an 80s synth. He was like, I know what you need. Did some cool things and sent it back, and I was like, that's exactly what I had in my head. Thank you very much. But yeah, just like James, he's like, he knows what you want and will work some magic. And that was at Orchard Studios near Glastonbury, which is a nice little family kind of run recording studio, which is really fun. Yeah.
Well, it was quite nice. We sort of bounced off of each other because you had sort of your initial idea, sort of like talking about looking in your phone, and then it sort of then progressed to sort of like almost getting sort of sucked into your phone and then appearing somewhere else. And there's all of this sort of concept going on.
Transitions, wasn't it?
Yeah.
We had all these different ideas for locations and kind of a rough. We needed to get through them, but we were like, how do we get through them? So we chose the digital phone as a in and out, like you're getting sucked in.
That's it. And then right at the very last minute, we added almost like the flashback to the end to all the different venues to sort of almost even amp up this sort of lost in technology moment as well, which is sort of like gives you this whole sort of whoa, and then you're just sort of back in the underpass again. And there's almost this sort of unrealistic length of time because an underpass is only so long. And and if you notice, she starts off in one end, and when the video ends, she emerges at the other end. But for what's actually happened in the interim, it's almost this impossible length of time for what's happened and the duration that's travelled. So there's all lots of little weird bits which are quite nice if you sort of delve into it a bit.
Yeah. Sorry, Steph, you had a question?
For the amount of time for the actual song, how much material did you have to take, and how long did it actually, how much of it was sort of cutting and editing and then adding the sort of effects to it?
Yeah, so a lot is the answer. So we had here for 2 hours?
2 hours, I think.
Yeah, about 2 hours. And what we started shooting, we had an idea, and we'd sort of had a chat before, and we'd made loads of notes and drawings and things that we wanted to do with potential to do with disco balls and other stuff. And we sort of got here, and it just sort of emerged into another thing. And actually, even though this was shot in this room, predominantly in like a 5 metre space, even if that big in this corner, it literally, the shot is me walking from here to this grey pillar where Kiera is, doing an arch around here to where the person gets slapped, walking back to here and then coming back to here again. So it's literally this tiny little space in here, but you've got no perspective as to how big the room is and how many people are there, and it looks full and busy. But so that was 2 hours. We then shot for essentially the whole day.
The whole day
to get Wellesley and Minehead.
Yeah, the Wellesley we were there for a couple of hours.
Yeah. But then shots-wise, it probably took me a whole day just to go through shots and go, inevitably go, this is garbage, this is garbage, this is garbage, and then I'll tend to go, okay, right, this is shots of people's skates, this is shots of, this thing and that thing, and I sort of then tend to folder it up. So then when I come to edit, I'll then go, okay, I want someone's face at this point, or I want this happening at this point, and then I'll compile it all up, stack it all together. The effects I designed from scratch. So all the dust and freckles is all done in After Effects.
Like the glitches and that.
Yeah, and all that sort of flashing and CRT effects. effects, and then obviously all the crop and things like that. So yeah, and then so it was a day refining it. I then went back to Kiera and said, this is where we're at. And then I think I did another little refine on a few bits, and then you came over, we reviewed it again, and then we added the ending.
You added the ending, yeah.
And I think we changed something else. So I suppose it was 3 days editing to make it, 1 day sorting, and sort of 1.5 to 2 days filming.
Yeah.
Which is...
I mean, I think the key is, like, if you've got a venue and you've got a rough idea, you just need to get as many shots as you can in that venue. Because, like, here, we only had it for 2 hours. The same as the Wellesley, we only had it for 2 hours. So you just want to get as much as you can in that time. It's a bit different on the beach. We could have stayed there all day if we wanted to. Bit windy, didn't want to.
Yeah.
The same as the cafe and the arcade. We could have stayed there all day if we wanted to. But especially in these places, you just get as much footage as you can.
Yeah, there was a few that was one shot, like the shot in here, we ended up doing it. It's one singular shot. There is no cut in here at all. The same on the beach. There is no cut on the beach at all. It's one continuous shot, which is quite cool, and it's something that I quite liked. So I was like, well, we've done it once. We've done loads of other stuff. We should probably do it again. And it just seemed to work on the beach, and it works really well.
Yes.
But yeah, it's a lot of it is... for me, I'm self-taught, so I don't sort of abide by the rules. If I don't know how to do something, I'll teach myself how to do it. My brain sort of is quite good at that, and so anything that Kiera wanted to do that I couldn't do, I was like, well, it's definitely possible. Let's try and do it. And if we couldn't, we couldn't, and if we could, we could.
That sounds like me. I want to do this impossible thing.
Yeah.
Please.
I like that. That's fun.
Cool.
Anything
Anything
others?
else?
So, the entire process from notebook to finished product, what was both of your favourite bits?
Oh.
I think you should answer that first.
From notebook.
I've got, hang on.
Freddie, can you not do such hard questions, please?
He's been making.
Did you decide this earlier? Because I could have decided earlier.
I think.
My favourite part, probably the Wellesley.
I think I've got more,
it.
more specific for me. I think it's 3 bits. It's one is the Wellesley shot with you on the stage.
Yeah, that's
with a
probably
combination
my
of
favourite.
all of the lights and the bit of slow-mo going through your hair looks absolutely awesome. And the photos look awesome from there as well.
Yeah.
Kathy slapping her boyfriend about literally to get that right, to actually get the perfect pan, everything in the right place. She must have slapped him, and there's no fakery. She actually slapped him.
We heard it
about
every time.
20 times. We must have done that shot. I've got the evidence.
Yeah.
And he took it like a pro, bless him.
Yeah.
So that was
Bless
hilarious.
him, yeah.
And then the invisible popcorn, which I've totally mistook someone for who's in the. So there's.
Yeah.
It's very funny. I'm useless with face. So there's a bit in the shot where you see 2 people on the chair. Who is on the chairs? It's you and Maddie, right? Okay, that's it. Are on the chairs, and you're laying back, and she reaches in a bag of popcorn and looks like it's feeding you popcorn, and there's nothing in the bag. The bag's totally empty, and you'd never know. There's no popcorn in it, and no nothing, and it was just a total sell. And it just makes me laugh every time.
I didn't have a big budget, so couldn't afford popcorn as well, guys.
In fact, actually, it was yourself that went and goes, I've snagged some bags, quick, don't tell anyone. You just emerge with empty popcorn bags.
No, I absolutely, I love the Wellesley. Purely because, like, as you guys know, like, we've performed there loads of times on the stage, but doing something completely different like that and having the static on the screen and having the shots on that, that was just so cool.
It's just a unique venue, you know, you don't get a chance to go, here's a 1950s cinema, go play. You're like, all right, okay. We tried to put the drone up, and then there was so many electrics, lights, thick walls, and it was having none of it. And I go, I'm going to crash a $2,000 drone and break a cinema. Like,
we originally kind of like wanted a shot with the drone coming from the circle, like right down to, which would have looked awesome.
It would have been awesome, and it was just.
It's not going to work.
Yeah.
It wasn't playing game.
We talked about the ghosts in the theatre, didn't we?
Yeah.
Did you ever actually find out? Do you think it was just the ambulance? Why did
I think it'll be a combination. I mean, I could have probably flown it in full sport mode. I mean, which is no sensors, no nothing. But then you've got a lot less control on the sticks. It's designed to go full tilt, which on that drone is about 45 miles an hour. So you've got a lot less control in a space like that. It's a really bad idea. So yeah, taking it out of having sensors and things just didn't seem the grown up in the insurance thing to do.
Not above people's heads.
No.